Hey, what's up everybody? We are back, and I figured it would be about time to address the whole Metroid rumor situation going on with the Switch, and of course everything that has happened in the last week with the two rumored Metroid games in development. Now, the story has gone, big, basically. So much so that even Boogie and The Know, those two very popular YouTube channels, have talked about the story. Boogie has almost 4 million subscribers, and The Know has over 1 million subscribers.
It looks like, if rumors are to be believed, there are two new Metroid games currently being worked on, presumably both to launch on the Switch.
A Nintendo YouTuber and occasional information source Super Metal Dave 64 has also chimed in, kicking these rumors up another level.
Dave appeared in a recent episode of the Spawncast podcast, where he'd heard reports that Metroid Prime 4 is indeed in development at Retro. However, he took things one step further than everybody else because, according to his sources, there is a separate Metroid game in development from another studio.
So basically, I wanted to clarify a few things about this, and the whole thing about Climax Studios developing this one certain Metroid game, we're going to address that, and of course the Retro Studios part of it. So a Metroid game has been rumored to be in development for the Nintendo Switch, formerly known as the NX, right? And it's been rumored for quite some time. Now, there's been some confusion about who was developing the game, right? Rumors have gone on back and forth whether or not it was going to be Retro Studios or another studio, and Climax Studios' name has been popping up for the past few months, actually. And this is where the rumor kind of started quite a while ago, and people just weren't aware of it, really. And I, of course, heard the same thing, but it was just basically as a possible developer, not a, hey, this is the real deal for the game for the Nintendo Switch, and that it was not Retro Studios for this particular game to be shown at E3 this year in the Metroid franchise. So, of course, when I went on Spawncast last week on his podcast and talked about these rumors, it blew up, and, basically, of course, Climax Studios denied it and everything, and it went on from there. So basically, regardless of all of that, the game is heavily rumored to be at E3, and this is a Metroid game in the Metroid franchise, right, for the Nintendo Switch. So that is still the rumor, and that is just one game that is rumored to be at E3 for the Nintendo Switch. And of course, the other rumor was that Retro Studios is working on another Metroid game for the future. And that rumor has been going on for quite a long time, actually. Even Shigeru Miyamoto, back in 2013, after the Wii U launched, he himself said in an interview that Retro Studios would be the best fit, in his opinion, to work on the next Metroid game. And of course, we heard Retro Studios themselves say that they would be very excited to work on another Metroid game. Probably not 2017, but rumor is they are working on something in the Metroid franchise. And of course, the other rumor with Retro Studios is that they're working on a brand new IP as well. So that's a lot of rumors going on there, right? So obviously, there's a chance that some of them could not come true. However, you have to remember that we haven't heard anything from Retro Studios for quite a long time, since Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which was basically using an upgraded engine from Donkey Kong Country Returns from the Wii on the Wii U. So you've got to think that there's multiple projects that Retro Studios is working on anyway, and this would make perfect sense for them to do that. So what it all boils down to is that, hey, what are we going to be seeing at E3, right? Well, basically I think we're going to be seeing this Metroid game at E3. Of course, we'll just say the developer is unknown, but obviously Nintendo would be in control of the project. And of course, the rumor will still remain that Retro Studios is working on a Metroid game for the future. So here's the discussion part of it for you guys. Is my question to you is, what type of Metroid game would you like to see at E3 if in fact this does become true and there is a Metroid game going to be shown at E3? Would you want a 2D Metroid completely side-scrolling, or would you want another first-person perspective Metroid in 3D, or would you want a third-person Metroid in 3D as well? Kind of like how they did with Other M. Granted, that's a bad word, right? Other M, but some people did like that game, but of course they didn't like the story, and the controls were extremely divisive in that game. So obviously, a lot better controls and a different developer. Tell me what type of Metroid game you would like to see shown at E3. Obviously, I'm hearing everywhere that, hey, as long as it's not Federation Force Part 2, then you'll probably be excited for it, right? Is this going to be a Metroid game that is like an offshoot, spin-off type game like they did with Federation Force, like another type of those games, and maybe Retro Studios is working on a mainline Metroid game later? We'll have to wait and see, right? Or is this going to be a brand new take on Metroid that gets us really excited to play a brand new game in the series? Obviously, we hope for that type of game, right? So I know you guys are really excited about Metroid, of course. We haven't seen the series in quite a long time. Obviously, people don't consider Federation Force a part of the Metroid universe, even though if you haven't played the game or have seen the ending of the game, basically, there is some ties, of course, to the mainline story of Metroid Prime, I believe, in Federation Force. I haven't played that game myself personally, but there is some story elements in that game that tie it to the Metroid franchise at the end of Federation Force on the 3DS. So granted, I know everyone doesn't really consider that game like canon, quote unquote, like a part of the Metroid history and all that kind of stuff, but it tells the story of the, you know, Galactic Federation and the war that they've been fighting. So obviously it does play a part, and I know a lot of people didn't like that game because it basically didn't feel like it was a Metroid game because of the co-op play. There was no isolation, there was no Samus in the game, so on and so forth. But obviously that story of the Galactic Federation is a key part, basically, on the side of where Samus comes from and basically the role that she plays in her bounty hunting. So again, that is the big question. Is this going to be another Metroid game that is a side story, spin-off game that people aren't really excited about? Or is it going to be a big, full-fledged Metroid game that gets people really excited into the series again? Again, thank you for your support. And the gameplay you've been watching in this video is Metroid Prime 3 Corruption on the Nintendo Wii. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you soon in the next video. Take care.